to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mandy, could you please call the roll?
Butler.
Here.
Carlstone.
Here.
Hopkins.
Here.
Van Strylen.
Here.
And DeYoung, and Randall Horshaw passes.
The City Council has adopted a code of civility. As elected officials, we pledge to promote civility through extending respect to others, listening to understand, disagreeing without disrespect, engaging collaboratively, and speaking up to address incivility. And just a reminder, this meeting is being recorded and broadcast for Pella TV. So anyone who wishes to speak to council, please approach that podium and that microphone before speaking, so that those listening at home can hear your comments and see you on TV. Can I get a motion for approval of the tentative agenda?
So moved.
Support. Van Strylen, Hopkins, any discussion? Okay, all in favor, please say yes. Opposed, no. Mandy, please call the roll.
Van Strylen.
Yes.
Hopkins.
Yes.
Butler.
Yes.
Carlstone.
Yes.
Motion passed. This time we have an opportunity for public comment. Anyone wishing to address council regarding any agenda item, please step forward to the microphone, state your name and address, and limit your comments to 3 minutes.
Karma J. Ruthven, 300 West 5th Street, here in Pella. I have a question in your ordinance 1083. When you discussed it the last council meeting, I assume you were talking about the homeless, but you didn't seem to say the homeless. So my question is, since you're wanting to avoid the camping and all that, what happens to these people that are camped out? Do the police just say you have to leave? I mean, is there a place they can go to? Anybody?
I don't know, Paul, I don't know if you wanna, I know Chief talked about the reason for the ordinance.
Yeah, we utilize several different entities between the Well, Crossroads, the homeless shelter in Des Moines, that we give all of those as options, as potential options. Many different civic organizations have helped us in the past with helping find resources for homeless individuals.
Okay. Well, okay, thank you.
Okay?
My name is Hans Kelp, and I live at 501 Columbus, and apparently ordinance number 1083 is rather popular this evening. I'm not want to speak on the issue of homeless and what will happen. I want to more address the verbiage and the words and definitions used within it, and since I have 3 minutes, I'll encourage you to kind of follow along with where I'm looking at. First, underneath definitions, under section 1, camp, the purpose of establishing or maintaining seems vague. I think the law enforcement would need some more definitions to mean, what does that mean to be establishing something, a temporary place to live, and then striking completely to use camp paraphernalia. Because as we'll continue through this list, I'll look and say that setting up a tent to dry, or even in my own yard in the right of way, would be a violation of this ordinance. So that seems like the writing of this seems to be a little bit poor and extremely vague. 2, when we talk about camping paraphernalia, I have seen in the city parks youth using hammocks and other assorted items. So under paraphernalia, hammocks would not be able to be hung between trees in the city parks, which we've seen during all kinds of events. And non-designated cooking facilities. This means that if we go to one of the parks and we want to barbecue, and one of the barbecuers is either out of commission, broken, we are not allowed to use our own. So that would fall under camping paraphernalia and is explicitly outlined here. So I don't think that is the intent to ban those kind of items from the parks. So I think that needs to be addressed. The word "to store," putting there on the side seems pretty simple, but as you go down, you'll start to realize that we are putting blankets and other items in the right-of-ways during fuel time. So that would be camping paraphernalia stored on public property, sometimes in excess of 10 to 12 hours. So that would be in violation of this ordinance, and so we would need to address that. So I think we'd be very busy. Then too, as we get down into what camping is, again, I've kind of talked about it, is even if I work with the Scouts and other youth organizations, if we wanted to come in to the park, practice setting up our tents, just doing a general program for a few hours, somebody could come and say we were camping and have law enforcement remove us from that park. So I think some of the writing and definitions need to be improved before you continue along with this. I do like that the violations, that if I'm not unable to pay the violation, that we would be able to work it off through service. So that is good, because the youth might not have the funding, but we'd be more than happy to perform labor for the city to give back because of our indiscretions. So appreciate your time, and if you had any questions, other questions for me in review of this. No, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, we'll move along. Can I get a motion for approval of the consent agenda?
So.
Van Strylen, Carlstone, any discussion or questions? Okay, all in favor, please say yes. Opposed, no. Mandy, please call the roll.
Van Strylen.
Yes.
Carlstone.
Yes.
Hopkins.
Yes.
Butler.
Yes.
Motion passed. Resolution number 6966, entitled Resolution Approving Change Order Number 1, Final Quantity Adjustments, and accepting the public improvements for the Hazel Street Sidewalk Project. Mike?
Hi, yes, Mr. Mayor. For those in attendance and those watching at home in Pella Fiber, I'd like to direct your attention to the big board for a brief presentation on this item. As Mayor DeWart stated, this evening we're talking about the Hazel Street Sidewalk Project with this resolution. Specifically, what this resolution would do is accept the public improvements on Hazel Street, as well as accept the final contract amount and process change order number 1, which is a quantities adjustment. So as background on this, we had the Hazel Street Sidewalk Project. North is over here, and so we have Elm Street right here and Park Lane over here. And the sidewalk was on the east side of Hazel Street that we have here, this red highlighted area. Now, as far as the contract is concerned this evening, we started off the contract just under $80,700. We are considering a quantities adjustment, which is simply just a reconciliation of the materials that were actually placed in the ground versus what the contractor estimated the materials would be when they did the project. So if council were to accept this project and approve change order number 1, we'd be left with the final contract amount of $79,616 for the project. It is important to note that our engineer believes the project was completed in accordance with the city approved plans and specifications. And they are recommending approval this evening, and that is also the staff recommendation. With that, Mr. Mayor, I'd be more than happy to answer any questions on this proposed resolution.
All right, thank you, Mike. Can I get a motion for approval?
So moved. Support.
Hopkins, Van Strylen, any discussion? Okay, by all accounts, it's very well done, and it's under budget. Two good things. So we'll vote on the motion. All in favor, please say yes. Opposed, no. Mandy, please call the roll.
Hopkins.
Yes.
Van Strylen.
Yes.
Butler.
Yes.
Carlstone.
Yes.
Motion passed. Resolution number 6967, entitled Resolution Ordering Construction of the Community Center Alley Reconstruction and Fixing a Date for Hearing thereon and taking bids therefore. Mike?
Hi, yes, Mr. Mayor. Once again, I'd like to direct everyone's attention to the big board for a presentation on this item. As Mayor DeWart stated, what this resolution really does is what we're talking about, first of all, is the alley between the community center and the library, and it's also the red highlighted area up on the big board as well. What this resolution simply does is establishes January 20th as the public hearing date for the project, and also authorizes city staff to solicit bids for this project. And so with that, what we have is an engineer's estimate of opinion of probable cost is just under $371,000. And if council were to proceed with the project on January 20th, we believe the working days would be right around approximately 50 on that. And so the plan is for the project is to start it actually after May 11th, right after tulip time, and hopefully we'll be able to get this project completed in the fall of 2026. And so once again, what we're simply doing is establishing the public hearing date for the project, and you're also authorizing staff to solicit bids for the project. So with that, we are recommending approval this evening.
All right, thank you. Can I get a motion for approval?
So moved. Support.
Hopkins and Stryland. Any discussion?
I do. Is this going to be labeling with community center projects? I didn't see a brand new 50 alleyway, have to redo parts of it with the construction.
Dr. Carlstone, that's a very good question, and it's my understanding that as far as the laydown area for this project, it will not conflict with the community center project. And for those in attendance and watching on the community center project, we're also planning on renovating the community center in 2026. That will use a different laydown area for the project. So the goal is with this project is to have this project completed and ready to go when the community center reopens in 2027.
Is there much underground there, infrastructure underground?
That I'm going to defer over to our engineer, Mr. Brad Udemark. It is also important to note that we are looking for the project itself to replace this alley with a brick alley as well. So Brad, if you can also answer the question on the underground as well.
Certainly, thank you. Yeah, actually very little underground on this one, which is a nice change from the last one that we did by Arson's and so. So there'll be a piece of storm sewer installed to tie all of the roof drains on the east side of the community center into and under the alley, and a new intake placed towards the south end of the alley and tied into existing storm sewer on, I think, Union Street. And that is pretty much it as far as underground utilities on this one.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anything else? All right, we'll vote on the motion. All in favor, please say yes. Opposed, no. Mandy, please call the roll.
Hopkins,
Yes.
Van Stryland,
Yes.
Butler,
Yes.
Carlstone.
Yes.
Motion passed. Ordinance number 1079, entitled an ordinance providing that general property taxes levied and collected each year on all property located within the Fountain Hills 4 urban renewal area in the City of Pella, County of Marion, State of Iowa, by and for the benefit of the State of Iowa, City of Pella, County of Marion, Pella Community School District, and other taxing districts be paid to a special fund for payment of principal and interest on loans, monies advanced to, and indebtedness, including bonds issued or to be issued, incurred by the city in connection with the Fountain Hills 4 urban renewal area, the Fountain Hills 4 urban renewal plan. This is the third reading. Mike?
Oh, yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd be happy to explain this item. As Mayor DeWart stated, what we're entertaining with this ordinance is actually setting up a TIF, a formal TIF area. This is the last step in the legislative process for the Fountain Hills 4 project. For those in attendance that may not be aware of this project, what the yellow highlighted area represents is Phase 4 of the Fountain Hills development. This will be a new 47-lot residential subdivision within the City of Pella. Now, in order to accommodate the development, the developer will be installing roughly $2.4 million worth of streets on this, and they will also be dedicating those streets to the City of Pella once they're complete on this. And how TIF works is that we have, through this ordinances, we'll be able to collect the incremental property taxes on the property. So if you were to go out there right now, the streets have been installed, but by and large, it's largely vacant lots. And so what TIF does is it freezes the base level with existing property taxes. All the taxing jurisdictions will still get the base level of the current taxes they're receiving. But on those incremental taxes, and this would be the new homes that are going to be built on the residential lots, once the city receives the taxes, we're going to rebate a portion of the taxes back to the developer to reimburse them for the $2.4 million of public infrastructure costs on the development. So this is the formal mechanism on how we're going to be able to collect the incremental property taxes. This is what this ordinance accomplishes. So let's go ahead, please, Heidi. It is important to note that the collection of the urban renewal area is limited to a 10-year life unless it's approved. The 5-year extension is approved by both Marion County and the Pella Community School Districts. On that, Marion County has already approved the extension of this of the urban renewal plan for this, and it's my understanding the Pella Community School Districts will be considering that extension during their December meetings as well. So on that. So with that, Mr. Mayor, I believe that's the summary that staff has this evening. I'm more than happy to answer any questions council may have on this ordinance.
All right. Thank you, Mike. Can I get a motion for approval?
Support.
Carlstone, Hopkins, any discussion? Okay, all in favor, please say yes. Opposed, no. Mandy, please call the roll.
Carlstone,
Yes.
Hopkins,
Yes.
Van Stryland,
Yes.
Butler.
Yes.
I'll entertain a motion for adoption of the ordinance number 10079.
Move to adopt. Support.
Ms. Stryland, Carlstone, any discussion? Okay, all in favor, please say yes. Opposed, no. Mandy, please call the roll.
Dan Stryland,
Yes.
Carlstone.
Yes.
Hopkins.
Yes.
Butler.
Yes.
Motion passed. Ordinance number 1080, entitled an ordinance amending solid waste fees in the city of Pella, Iowa. This is the third reading. Mike?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd be happy to explain this item. As Mayor DeWart stated, what we're looking to do with this ordinance is amend the solid waste rates within the city of Pella. And specifically, what's being proposed is to eliminate the vacation rate for the ordinance. Now, currently, customers that are on vacation have the ability to suspend their service and pay a minimum charge of $2.50 per month on this. This is the proposal to eliminate this ordinance, and there's been a litany of issues over the years as far as collecting the fees on this with it. So we previously discussed those issues on it as well. Now, as far as the number of customers that currently utilize this, we have approximately 91 customers, but a majority, almost all of those customers are landlords. I was told by the staff that typically the true vacation or the snowbirds typically are somewhere between 10 to 20 a year. And currently we have 91, so the majority of these customers are landlords. And what happens is when a landlord has a vacancy, they suspend their service, they pay the minimal charge until their tenant moves in. And that's where most of the issues have been associated with this ordinance as far as collecting the $2.50 and the communication on it. So again, most of the customers that utilize the vacation rates are landlords with this. And so with that, Mr. Mayor, that's a summary of the proposed ordinance. We are recommending approval this evening.
Okay, thank you, Mike. Can I get a motion for approval?
Support.
Hopkins and Stryland, any discussion? Okay, all in favor, please say yes. Opposed, no. Mandy, please call the roll.
Hopkins.
Yes.
Dan Stryland,
Yes.
Butler.
Yes.
Carlstone.
Yes.
Motion passed. I will entertain a motion for approval and adoption of ordinance number 1080.
Move to adopt. Support.
Ms. Stryland, Hopkins, any discussion? Okay, all in favor, please say yes. Opposed, no. Mandy, please call the roll.
Dan Stryland,
Yes.
Hopkins.
Yes.
Butler.
Yes.
Carlstone.
Yes.
Motion passed. Ordinance number 1081, entitled an ordinance amending municipal telecommunication utility rates in the city of Pella, Iowa, and this is the third reading. Mike?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, once again, I'd like to direct everyone's attention to the big board for a brief presentation on this item. Very similar ordinance to what we just considered for the solid waste utility. The only difference is this is for Pella Fiber and the services for Pella Fiber. Currently, the customers that are on vacation have the ability to suspend their service and pay a minimal charge to the city for Pella Fiber services, which is $10 per month for internet, television, or phone services. Currently, there's 19 customers that utilize the vacation rate, which is approximately less than 1% of our customer base on that, Mr. Mayor. So, once again, the reasons for this proposed ordinance are very similar to the solid waste utility, and staff is recommending approval this evening.
All right,
I think I got one more cleanup, don't I?
Oh.
Yeah. And as a part of this ordinance, and I jumped the gun a little bit, we also have a cleanup as well. So this is purely a housekeeping issue that we have as far as voice, internet, protocol, phone system rates that we have as well. So with that, Mr. Mayor, I'd be more than happy to answer any questions the council may have on this item.
All right, thank you, Mike. Can I get a motion for approval?
So moved. Support.
Ms. Stryland, Hopkins, any discussion? Okay, all in favor, please say yes. Opposed, no. Mandy, please call the roll.
Dan Stryland,
Yes.
Hopkins.
Yes.
Butler.
Yes.
Carlstone.
Yes.
Motion passed. Now I'll entertain a motion for adoption of ordinance number 1081.
Move to adopt. Support.
Ms. Stryland, Hopkins, any discussion? Okay, all in favor, please say yes. Opposed, no. Mandy, please call the roll.
Dan Stryland,
Yes.
Hopkins.
Yes.
Butler.
Yes.
Carlstone.
Yes.
Motion passed. Ordinance number 1082, entitled an ordinance amending city code of the City of Pella, Iowa by adopting a revised chapter 76 relating to bicycle, electric scooter, electric personal assistant mobility device, personal transportation devices, and other power-driven mobility device regulations, deleting chapter 77 bicycle licensing, deleting section 47.06 skates, bicycles, and skateboards, deleting section 67.04, subsection 3, use sidewalks. This is a second reading. Mike?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd be happy to explain this item. As Mayor DeWart stated, this proposed ordinance deals with the regulations of electric bicycles and scooters within the City of Pella. Now, in explaining this item, it's very important to note that these items are currently regulated under state code. The issue is if you were to go under state codes, it involves several chapters of state code. Similarly, with electric bicycles and scooters, they're currently regulated under city code as well, and they involve various chapters under city code. So what we're trying to do is simplify things for our police department, put everything in one chapter, and also have that chapter aligned with state code. Now, in explaining this item, when we talk about electric scooters and bicycles, it's important to know that the state differentiates electric bicycles by 3 different classes. Class 3 is the highest level of electric bicycles, and I believe on this, you're talking about bicycles that have motors that propel them at 28 miles per hour or greater on this. So when we look at state code, it's important to know that first of all, scooters and electric bicycles are allowed on city streets and streets on this, as well as sidewalks, as well as trails. Now here in a nutshell is the regulations under state code. When we talk about those class 3 bicycles, so those are bicycles that are propelled with a motor that at least 28 miles per hour or greater. They have a minimum age requirement of 16 to be allowed on the streets. Now, electric scooters are also prohibited on public streets when you have speed limits greater than 25 miles per hour or greater. And we do have a little chart down below that shows the regulations for electric scooters as well as public streets. So this one is when they deal with sidewalks and trails and public streets. And as you can see, the speed limits that we have for all these devices are limited to 20 miles an hour when you're dealing with sidewalks, trails, and public streets, and that's with the exception of the class 3 bicycles. That speed limit only applies to trails and sidewalks. So Heidi, let's go ahead. Now I believe we kind of summarized the reason for the proposed ordinance. Once again, we're trying to place an ordinance that lists one chapter under city code that aligns with state code, and this is for the convenience of our police department in regulating electric scooters as well as bicycles as well. So let's go ahead, please, Heidi. Now, we do have some additional restrictions on sidewalk usage where you can operate scooters, and this mainly deals with sidewalks in the downtown area, and specifically there's sidewalks that are adjacent to, they would be prohibited for sidewalks that are adjacent to Central Park. They would be allowed on the sidewalks that abut Central Park, and I believe with this ordinance, correct me if I'm wrong, Mandy, but we do have one modification as well. Previously, the ordinance stated that bicycles and electric scooters would be allowed on sidewalks that are adjacent to Central Park. We're simply substituting the word adjacent with abutting with this ordinance. So that is a minor modification to this ordinance as well. So we've listed on some other additional areas for enforcement, but in a nutshell, when we talk about special events or events where something is reserved for other members of the public that have been approved by council on this, then we would have enforcement with scooters as well as bicycles in those areas as well. So let's go ahead, please, Heidi. Okay. Now, previously when we discussed this ordinance during policy and planning, we talked about establishing a sunset date for the ordinance, which staff would recommend if council would like to review this ordinance and to see if there's any concerns that we simply establish whether it's a year or 2 years out that we may put a placeholder simply to review it and to see if there's any issues on it rather than put a sunset date within the ordinance. So with that, Mr. Mayor, the last item that we have is important to note that this ordinance was drafted by legal counsel and was drafted by legal counsel, and staff is recommending approval this evening.
All right, thank you, Mike. Can I get a motion for approval?
Support.
Hopkins, Carlstone, any discussion? Okay, all in favor, please say yes. Opposed, no. Mandy, please call the roll.
Hopkins.
Yes.
Carlstone.
Yes.
Van Strylen.
Yes.
Butler.
Yes.
Ordinance number 1083, entitled an ordinance amending Chapter 41, Public Health and Safety of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Pella by adding a new section, Section 41.15, prohibiting camping and the storage of personal property in public locations. This is the second reading. Mike?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, once again, I'd like to direct everyone's attention to the big board for presentation on this item. As Mayor DeWart stated, what this ordinance effectively legislates is camping within the city parks as well as public buildings and right-of-ways within the City of Pella. Now, specifically what the ordinance prohibits is camping and storing of personal property in public spaces, and this is very similar to when we discussed this ordinance during policy and planning on November 3rd. We do have a listing of where the areas, the camping areas would be prohibited, would be any city park or public property, as well as public buildings, right-of-ways, streets, and sidewalks. So let's go ahead, please, Heidi. Okay, it's important to note that we did contact the Pella Community School District for comments and review on this as well. They did review the proposed ordinance, and from their standpoint, they did not have any concerns with this. And I would like to mention, as far as violations of the ordinance, that if there is a violation of the ordinance, it is a simple misdemeanor as well. Now, this ordinance was drafted by our legal counsel and has been reviewed by the Pella Police Department and staff, and we are recommending approval this evening. So with that, Mr. Mayor, I'm happy to answer any questions the council may have on this item.
All right, can I get a motion for approval? So moved. Hopkins. Carlstone, discussion.
So, let's say Hans wants to take a troop of boys and go camping in the park. Is that possible?
Captain Hossie.
Under how this is written right now, no, it would require a special event permit or a permit to camp in the park.
So it would be possible, it just would require a permit.
Yes.
Mandy agrees.
Yeah.
Yes, there is language in the ordinance that allows, like, the comment about, placing blankets during tulip time. There is a piece of the ordinance that allows during special events.
It's just information that'll have to be included in the special event permit.
Yeah.
Thought about this in our last discussion as well, with hammocking being popular right now. I think Hans seems to be interpreting this correctly. It does include hammock use as camp paraphernalia. Collegers especially, that seems a little overly closing. Some of our parks, I think maybe are more specific, depending on what parks would allow that, or would, maybe by name specifically. Because, and maybe it was sunset, that down by X o'clock at night, or, I thought we maybe mentioned this, but that there was an overnight component to this as well, but.
Yeah. Now, Captain Hossie, as far as the overnight component, currently under the city ordinances, the parks close, I believe, at 9 or 10 o'clock at night. So we have enforcement for camping after hours. What this ordinance is largely drafted for is camping during daytime. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
So it's already prohibited
At night?
at night?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. The issues that we've had is within the city shelters that we've had, where people reserve shelters, and there's been camping that's been going on in conflicts with people making reservations within the parks. There's been issues with that, and that's one of the ones that's been brought to my attention, but there's others as well, so.
Well, for those in attendance, the process of a special use permit to the scouts or whoever it is applying, and then the way to come in front of
So,
council.
yeah, so a special event permit, if they wanted to do some sort of a camping event during the day, they would apply. There's a small fee and a certificate of insurance, and it would go before council for approval.
Case of trying to control a few.
Thank you for recognizing me. I guess I'm not looking for a permit to camp overnight. Merely the way that the verbiage seems to be stating is that if we wanted to go for an hour and set up our tents in preparation for just checking gear or something of that nature, it would be prohibited, and I would have to file a special permit just to use the park, along with things such as bringing my own stove or small barbecuer to a park and using it. That would be camping paraphernalia. There seems to be a lot of limitations on just using the public parks as they are intended with the way this is written. That's what I wanted to clarify.
It's more an issue that the language may
Well, I was gonna ask, so this is the second reading, so it passed the first reading. If it passed, if it's the second reading, obviously we have a third reading. If there were any tweaks to the language between now and the third reading, would that prohibit us from, would we have to start all over?
No, we'd be able to make the adjustments to the language as well to the ordinance, so.
So might I suggest, and I don't vote, you guys gotta vote, that we move it forward, but maybe Hans could have conversation with Mike or Mandy and with our attorney, because the attorney wrote this, right?
Correct.
Make sure that some of those, because I think there are some legitimate, we don't wanna put our police department and people in a hard spot here. So it might be prudent to have some, little bit more conversation, and maybe there are a few terms that could be tweaked to better clarify what we're trying to say. I think we all know kind of what the issue has been, you know, people camping in a shelter house, and then a group has rented the shelter house, and then they come and there's someone's sleeping bag and other stuff there. That's kind of was the intent, but maybe we need to, so that's just my suggestion.
Yeah, I agree.
Can we get that done in 2 weeks?
I believe we should be able to review it again and discuss this with the city attorney, and I'm forgetting the gentleman's last name on it as well. So, I believe we should.
Mr. Kelly?
Yeah, it should be.
And I wonder about a rep from Central College. I'm sure there are hammockers. I don't know if they might have a hammock club.
Yeah, that's private property.
But if they want to come up to Wood Park or whatever, you know, that's another interest group that might have input. I don't want to get overly complicated about it. It's like, you write ordinances to try to fix a small problem, but you step on the rights of those who want to use it. I don't want to kick this down the proverbial road of inaction either, so. Because it makes it hard for those.
Well, I agree with the mayor, so let's do that. And then I think we're ready to vote.
I do know that after the first reading of this ordinance, I was contacted by Channel 5 News out of Ames for a comment about it, so.
It was on more than one network, more than one channel.
I saw them.
All right, any other discussion?
I think as long as we can make a timeline happen without being forced, that'd be fine.
And we always have, just to remind council, if there's outstanding issues still at the third reading, and council, we always have the option to table it as well, so.
Okay, all right, then we will vote on the motion for approval, so all in favor, please say yes, opposed no. Mandy, please call the roll.
Hopkins.
Yes.
Carlstone.
Yes.
Ian Stryland.
Yes.
Butler.
Yes.
Motion passed. Can I get a motion for approval of our abstract of bills number 2188?
So moved.
Ms. Ryland, Hopkins, any discussion or questions? Okay, all in favor, please say yes, opposed no. Mandy, please call the roll.
Ian Stryland.
Yes.
Hopkins.
Yes.
Butler.
Yes.
Carlstone.
Yes.
Motion passed. Any council member have any other business you'd like to address this evening?
Well, I don't know if it's quite appropriate, but I want to announce what we're going to do next time. Is that all right?
Yeah.
So next time, we're going to have a proclamation honoring Dr. Ronald Repill, citizen of Pella, native citizen, a lot of history, a lot of interesting stuff. And we put that together, and so invite people, anybody that knows Dr. Repill would enjoy being here. And we'll invite the family too, so just want to make that known. Thank you.
Amazing historian.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would just say, we have two council members that aren't here tonight. I don't know if everyone knows, but Mark is in the middle of some significant cancer treatments. And so we want to remember him in our prayers. And also, I got a call from Lynn today, and she was headed to Kansas City for her daughter has some significant health issues. So just to remember them, they both have some significant health concerns. So. Okay, any member of the public have any other business you'd like to address council with this evening?
Irma Ruthven, 300 West 5th Street. I have just two things. First of all, I had brought up months ago about the alley back of the post office, about when you're going onto Broadway, how you can't see, so you have to go practically out onto Broadway because there's cars parked there, or vans or whatever. So, and I saw a bicyclist about got hit, and I've also, creep out, and then, oh, there's a car. So I didn't know I know our parking is so limited, but could maybe they put like 2 for compact cars there on the end? So you could still have parking, but it's just limited. I mean, you see that in other places, compact cars only. So, I mean, that's a thought. Then I'm bringing up when I had fallen on the brick probably 4 or 5 years ago, and it still has not been fixed. It's still raised there by the Mollengrot on Franklin Street. So doing all this infrastructure everywhere else, but the brick isn't being taken care of on the sidewalks. So that's all. Thank you.
Okay.
Andrea Franco, 511 Lincoln Street. I just wanted to ask, are we getting gravel put down on our torn up road? Because a lot of us over there are having to park on the streets, and with the snow and the snow ordinances, there's a lot of concern for not being able to get into our garages and driveways with the bad weather.
We'll have our Public Works Director address that, because we were just talking about it before the meeting, so.
Yes, first things first, the plan right now is somewhat dependent on the weather, but we want to get all the water supplies attached, stub out all the new sewer connections, and then if the weather allows us, get the sewer laid down to that First Avenue intersection, and then we will put the gravel in. Now, if the weather hits us again, we won't be able to do that, but we have in plan that we are going to get gravel in there. The goal is that the East 2nd intersection, you will be able to go through, and there will be gravel, significant gravel, all the way down where we've ripped the road up. We have made some progress. We've now paved from East 3rd most of the way to East 2nd, and we've got the driveways in there. Yeah, we're very aware this is not at all what we wanted, but we're going to make sure that you can get the best possible access. And while I am obviously high on the power of having just declared a snow emergency, we will be taking due care that we don't discommode you during that, okay? Does that address the concern?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay.
And I would encourage anyone that lives on that street, if you have questions, contact Wilf. He's really good at communicating, got a lot of communication skills, and yeah, unfortunately, we haven't had this kind of snow for quite a few years in November, so we needed another month of good weather. But okay, anyone else? All right. We really don't have anything to discuss for policy and planning, correct?
That is correct.
These are just things that are gonna be coming up in the next couple meetings. With that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Support.
Hopkins, Van Strylen, all in favor, please say yes, opposed no. Mandy, please call the roll.
Hopkins,
Yes.
Van Strylen,
Yes.
Felton,
Yes.
Carlson.
Yes.
Motion passed, and we are adjourned.